If you've been in one of my morning meetings, you know it's business first. So tonight, I was asked to come here early, and I got a little glimpse of what goes on behind the scenes. So all the WALT people, it's more than just the one or two you see here to make this happen. There was a room full, I think I counted 20. Is that about right? So when you leave tonight, make sure you thank these people. They do this every single week in, week out. Never knowing if 20 is going to show up or 40 shows up. So go out your way and thank these people. They're good people. Second thing, I've been asked, and I want to set the record straight. It's not up there. There's no Photoshop. That picture's 1 year old. Working at Walt has aged me that bad for the last year. So it is what it is. And it does, really. Thirdly, man, I've had the bat in my hand with the game on the line. I've had putts for money. But y'all got me nervous tonight. And I told Troy that I wanted to just speak. I just beat myself up. I didn't want to mess up. So today I made note cards. Nothing, just little headlines. But God will throw you a curveball when He wants you to just speak. And about 15 minutes ago, I was thrown a curveball. My ex-father-in-law was here. Hadn't seen him in, 6 years? And thank you. With that, my name's Barry. My sober date is 1/1/23. I did get, through God's help and a lot of willpower, I was able to get sober in prison. And that is very difficult to do. I prayed and prayed, and to make things easier, He transferred me. And so when I transferred, it was real easy. You just say no that one time, and it kind of goes around. But prison's tough. It really was. I work at Walt. I came from prison to Walt. I've been here going on a little over 11 months. I've worked with them for the last 10. I started out driving, built relationships with lots of you guys in here today through the driving, and now I'm guest service for Smooth's campus. Tonight, I look up to Smooth. I get Smooth talk every single morning, every single day, all day long. I'm not Smooth. I can't do it like he does. I do the best I can. My hopes are that somebody doesn't screw up a life quite like I did. Build your foundation, and we'll talk about that as we go on. I got a stronger foundation in the last 10 months than I did the first 60 years of my life. I was the youngest of, wait a minute, I did forget one very important thing. I am at a disadvantage too. I am 30 years older than all you guys, yet I got the same amount of time to tell my story. So that's really not fair. So I've got more years to roll in. So if I miss something, we'll have part 2 maybe in a few weeks. But I shouldn't be here. I was born and raised in a Christian home. My dad was not abusive. My mother did not drink. My older brothers and sisters didn't do dope. I was born and raised to know better than to be sitting right here. Looking back, I was the youngest of 4. My oldest brother is 14 years older than me, and it's only me and him left. So I was an uncle at the age of 6. So I kind of raised like a grandchild, if you will. Got everything I wanted, everything I needed, plus most of everything I wanted. I was a good kid, but even when I wasn't, I couldn't do no wrong. I mean, they were done. They were raising grandkids. I kind of got raised like them in a way. So I knew better. I married years later into an equally strong family, good Christian home. Same scenario. No drinking. Well, maybe Methodist drinking. I kind of like that. I took it to extremes. But no drugs, good solid foundation. And I started my marriage off that way. We had God first. We went to church, was involved in church. I was on the finance committee. She was on building committees and that committee, but we gave back. But now I'm the black sheep, not of one family, but of two. And that's a tough pill to swallow. As a kid, the activities I did, I loved baseball. Hank Aaron was my idol. I got to watch him play. None of you guys probably did. Y'all are probably too old, too young. But I skied competition, water ski competition, played baseball, basketball, softball. But as a young age, I always wanted to hit home runs. I wanted to dunk. I wanted to ski the competition. And I worked for it because I wanted it. And I excelled at it. God gave me a talent and I worked hard to it. I could hit a golf ball and a softball and a baseball a country mile when I was younger. But I worked for it. And I surrounded myself with people that could make me better at what I wanted to become. A lot like recovery. A lot like recovery. First thing you got to do is want it. Second thing, you got to work for it. Wanting it and not working, you're not going to get it. I've said it before many times in the meetings. You can get sober in those apartments, but you cannot find recovery. Cannot. The stuff that I learned on the golf course, if I didn't go practice it and work on it, it would be for nil. So I excelled in lots of things. I coached my kids every year up until high school. I've coached on the adult level, men's, women's, and co-ed. I actually coached a team through Tommy's dad. He was our sponsor. We won the Class C championship, state championship in 1993. There again, we worked for it. We set a goal, and it didn't happen overnight. We set a goal and we worked for it. Business-wise, I started working when I was 13 years old at Lake Lanier Islands. It was just opening then. And I worked there from 8th grade through 12th grade. Then my first real job, I was actually paid to play softball. That's pretty cool. I got hired by a company, and they really tended to their softball team. And we had it made. We'd go in and had the easiest job for 4 hours. Then we'd go practice the rest of the day. We'd play a couple of times a week, weekends, all paid, just easy until softball season ended. And then we were real employees, and I quit the first day. But that's the only job I've ever quit. After that, I started working at Riverside Cabinets. I was the third one hired, and I had the opportunity to watch a company grow. In 13 years, we grew to 63 people. I had 63 guys under me. I actually had 62 under me. Tommy's dad was the owner. It was just me and him. And we had a good, strong business. Through several things, it just didn't work out, and I quit one night. Me and my wife, we talked about it. I was frustrated. I wasn't happy. We worked a lot. And I didn't tell her the day I was going to quit. And we were, at the time, trying to have kids, and just whatever reason, we couldn't. And I went in one afternoon and told her that I had quit. And she supported me. Had no idea what I was going to do next. No idea. I had a good, strong foundation of builders and suppliers and different things. And I had some side work built up, but I didn't have no money to open a shop or anything. And when I told my wife, she said, well, we got to go tell Mom and Dad. And I'll never forget sitting there that night at the dinner table with Jim and Jan and Cindy. And I think I just told him I quit my job. And I really can't say exactly what he was saying, but it was kind of like, what the are you thinking? But before that night was over, I had the support of my in-laws, and Craftsman Custom Cabinets was formed that night or the next. Well, we decided to do the shop, open the shop that night. The next morning, he had my logo ready, going with the company name, and we were off and running. So I took what little side work I was through my contacts. I was able to find a shop fully furnished with for $1,000 a month. My wife was working, had a decent job, so I was able to when I done work, I was able to take that money, put aside, buy a tool, and put it in storage. And that went on about a year. And at the end of my first year, I was looking to just continue on another year. The people I was renting from wanted their shop back. I didn't know what to do. But luckily I had the tools to almost fill up a shop over that first year. So we bought a building, and wow, we never looked back. It was success immediately. We just overnight. I was in business roughly at 19 years, and a large majority of that, I carried 50 employees. And that's a pretty strong small business. At the height of it, I was playing golf 3 or 4 times a week and still making money. But I set my business up that way. I set it up what I thought, for business-wise, it was a good foundation. It was a good, strong business foundation. I don't know why. Still working on that, but 2006, it kind of came to a halt. Sales just plummeted. 2008, the building crunch hit. If y'all was ever in the Atlanta area, y'all remember it, the national building bust. I was dead a part of it. And I held on, fought, scramed, spent money, chased, trying my best, but really I was just spinning in circles to keep it afloat. In the end, when we closed, I had very little left. I spent everything we had, and it was a lot of what my wife had. We just closed it. And just I would do something. But I was so caught up with the success that I was picky and I wasn't humble looking for jobs. Excuses after excuses. I tried starting my shop again, but I got older, couldn't quite put in the hours. My couple of friends that had helped me start my business before, some had passed away, others had went their own way and had their own thing. So it was just difficult, so I just spun in circles 3, 4, 5 years. I still think I tried. I really do. I think I tried, but the first time was so easy. I didn't do nothing to be the success I was, other than I was involved in church, I was giving back, I was doing the right thing. But through all that success I had, even with Riverside, I never learned how to adapt to change. I never learned how to depend on God because I didn't ever need Him. I didn't need Him. I had everything I wanted. Every day was Christmas. Every day could have been Christmas. It did not matter. I'd go buy a car on a Tuesday, January 4th, and it wouldn't matter. It was just there. And when it starts slipping away, now let's back up a little bit. So I'm going to tie that in at the end. So I said I was born and raised in a Christian home, played ball, sports. I always played the high school basketball team. I was on the high school golf team. I hunted. I fished. I camped, skied, had it made. We lived up on Lake Lanier, close to it. But December 26th of 1984, I guess, 1984, I met my wife-to-be. And it was kind of weird. Sugar Hill's a small town, a lot smaller than it is now. Sugar Hill was so small, when you went to church, you knew who was there and who was out. Now you go to church, you don't know who's there, who's not. You don't even know everybody in church. But back then, you knew everybody in church. Well, so what was strange was I met Cindy, and she had moved away from Macon, but she was born and raised in the same town that I was from, and it took her having to move away to Macon for me to meet her. But we married, and like I said, we had a strong family. When the business opportunity came, she was there to support me. I supported her through her business. She was out of town lots. She ended up starting her own. It just worked. It clicked. We clicked together. We had trouble getting pregnant when we wanted to get pregnant. But that's when I was working at Riverside. Still, I think I'd been there 11 years at the time. We thought we'd start a family. We didn't get pregnant. We tried, and we tried, and we tried, and we couldn't get pregnant. We opened the business. When I bought that building, we found out she was pregnant after being in business a year. If we'd gotten pregnant when we wanted to get pregnant, I would have never had the opportunity to open my business. We wouldn't be able to afford it. She couldn't have supported me the way that she did. So there's no doubt God had a hand in that. And I gave him credit during that time. Like I said, we gave back. We helped fund a local school, Christian school that's still there, a high school homeschool football program that is excelling throughout the state and the nation today. We helped do. Somewhere along the lines, Barry started saying, I did this, and I did that, and I did this. What a mistake. What a mistake. So we raised two good Christian, God-loving kids. You might see their pictures up there. Beautiful kids. They too, they might social drink, but they don't do what I did. They saw what it done to me. My ex-wife, she saw what it done to me. We divorced 6 days shy of my 30th anniversary. That was after the business been closed for about 4 years. I blamed the business. I blamed them. I woke up one morning, I was a stranger in my own house. That next night, I was out of my own house. My family had left me, and I did feel abandoned. So let's go back to some drug use. I knew better, but we say that we are who we hang with, right? Sometimes we can control it, sometimes we can't, but we always have a choice. Always have a choice. I smoked my first joint at the age of 12. I took my first drink of Jack Daniels at the age of 12. And I continued all through high school, smoking dope, drinking Jack Daniels. You ever seen the movie Friday Night Lights?
Yeah.
That was my life. I mean, that movie was made at North Gwinnett High School in the 80s. I mean, we had keg parties, and we didn't have cell phones back then. It's funny how we decided to have a party in 1 hour, and you still get 100 people there with no cell phones. I mean, word got out. But that was my life. I wasn't a bad kid. Back then you really couldn't get DUIs. You could if they caught you out the second time. If they caught you the first time, they'd tell you to go home. They might take your beer, they might pour it out, but most of the time they just tell you to go home, don't let us see you out again for the weekend. And we didn't. We took that warning. Now the next weekend we're doing it again. But we weren't hurting nobody, we thought. The same thing through out of school when I started working at Riverside. Man, we drank beer and smoked pot and built some amazing cabinets. Amazing cabinets. And nobody got hurt. The ball playing, same thing. Weekends, we we played ball and we were good, but we were getting tore up in the meantime. But never thinking, never had a thought where it was leading. Where it was leading. The business. I didn't use a whole lot in my business to begin with. My first real bout with drug addiction came in 2004, and we were swamped. We just could not keep up. We were going as hard as we could go. I mean, I had a stack of jobs that tall. Wasn't even caught up on invoicing. I couldn't even stay caught up on that. But one night, I gave in to some cocaine, and I'll never forget. I worked all night, and I never forget my general manager coming in and said, "I don't know what you did last night, but you need to do it every night for about 3 weeks." Hey, that was my opportunity. So I did every night for the next 3 weeks. That was about a 10-month streak that got totally out of control. Hindsight, my wife should have left me then. She should have left me then. Kids were a young age, probably 5 and 6, maybe a little older, I don't know. But she stuck with me. She stuck with me. My in-laws stuck with me. I still had my family then. They stuck with me. And I came back, and I'd done okay. What I used to think I'd done really okay. Now I look back, I just turned to something else, turned to pain pills. I was playing ball. I stayed hurt. So I turned to pain pills. And that's something nobody knew about. They knew to watch me on the cocaine, freebase. They knew that. But pain pills, I can hide that. And anyway, they're prescribed, it's legal. But over the years, that took its toll. And somewhere I never forget when I was doing 10, 15 Lord taps a day, I got turned on that little blue Roxy. And I'll never forget, I'd taken that first half and thinking, man, I got this solved. I just threw away those 15 a day. I'd do me a half one in the morning, half one at night. I'll be good. The 1 turned to 5, the 5 turned to 15 a day. Then came meth. Same situation, July 4th, 2017. I go to pick up some Roxys, and these guys are smoking a bowl. And they said, "You want to hit it?" I said, "Yeah." So I hit it. And I grab my Roxys, I go, and 10 hours later, I haven't touched those Roxys, And so I called the guy, I said, "Hey, man, I need that glass pipe we smoked those Roxys in this morning." He said, "What?" I said, "Those Roxys, we smoked in a glass pipe this morning. Where'd you get it?" He said, "Man, that was meth." So then I found out how cheap it was. I said, "Well, my problem's solved. I'll hit that once or twice in the morning, and I'll be done. Be good. Nobody will ever know." Next thing I know, my marriage is gone, my business is gone, and I am spiraling the heck out of control. I built my life on the success of my business and the success of my marriage, which is a good foundation as long as it stays good. But who are you going to turn to when it's bad? Who are you going to turn to when the storm comes? And the storm hit me. I haven't had a roller coaster ride. I wrote a little bit that I had a roller coaster life. I really haven't. I've been up and I've been down, and now I'm on my way back up. I haven't done this. If you've been to my morning meetings, especially this morning, I have found a 4-part series from Andy Stanley. It's called Starting Over. And it's for everybody, but it's amazing in recovery. It's amazing. I start over each and every day, but I start over with the experience of yesterday, and I start over trying to be the man God intended me to be. And with that, I have hope for tomorrow. And as frustrating as it is, walk's tough, but it don't have to be that tough. heard yesterday, last night in the meeting, God is everything or he's not. Pretty simple. God is everything or he's not. I can promise you I do not get behind that van, the steering wheel of that van, without just God let these people get where they want safely, and all the people I come in contact with to and from. And if I forget, I thank him when I get back at home. I don't do everything right, but my focus is on doing everything right. I lay down every night at peace. And to know what I've done through the years, the family I destroyed, I don't even know the lives I affected. I got mixed up in the dope business. I don't even know the people I affected. But to know the things I'd done, to lay down at night with not a worry on my mind, it's pretty amazing. And I know your struggles are real. I've been through them. But what I've got, the success I had with my business, the money, the family, it wasn't strong enough. What I got now didn't cost me a thing. It's free.